Hello preschoolers, I am back. I'm going to go over the Scissor Skills Checklist with you all so that you guys can do your scissor practice, right? So mommies and daddies, you will kind of be doing this side or you know, grandparents or babysitters, whoever you're with, you guys can do this side, this checklist, and your student will do this. I drew this myself, if you can't tell. And then just make copies of it. So you adults, this solid line is where you're going to cut, okay? So to prepare, I know this activity is a little bit of a pain because it is taking a little bit of a prep. So you're just gonna cut on all these solid lines here before you begin the activity with the child, okay? So you're gonna cut, cut, cut. All right, let me finish all these. These are, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So, and it does go with the checklist over here as well. So, let me finish getting this cut out, and then I'm just gonna cut off this top part. It doesn't really matter, you don't need to cut off the top part. I'm going to. So, Scissor Skills Checklist, woo! All right, so the first section, I'm gonna lay all mine out so I can see, that you guys will do is rips paper. So you'll give this strip to the preschoolers. Preschoolers, you're gonna rip it, right? Just rip it as much as you want to. Show your parent or whoever's doing this with you that you can rip the paper. Rip all the way across the paper. It doesn't matter how many times you do it, just see how well you can do it, okay? Show whoever's with you that you can do that, okay? All right. Next, we're going to see if they can snip. So with that same paper we just ripped, students, you're just gonna cut it up, right? Watch your fingers, remember? I will say, here's my advice for you guys. One way we teach them to hold their scissors is they put their thumb through this hole. Well, my scissors, you can't really tell. The thumb through the little hole and the rest of your fingers through that big hole, okay? And your thumb needs to point to heaven the whole time. Your thumbnail, see your thumbnail? Needs to point to heaven. So a lot of them like to start going like this. So you just remind them, oh, point your thumb to heaven, and most of them will switch over like that. Or you can just help gently rotate their hand so that they remember. It's a very difficult position to teach. Also, one hack that I saw, I haven't tried it with them, but is putting a piece of paper or a folder under their arm and saying, make sure this holds, because if they're trying to flip upside down, they're going to drop that piece of paper. So say, hold that piece of paper. But we at school do the point your finger or your thumbnail to God or to heaven. Okay, so preschoolers, like I said, you're going to point your thumbnail to heaven. You're going to snip all your paper as much as you can, very carefully so you don't cut yourself, okay? Remember, because safety is the most important. Okay, next, we're gonna do, nope, not that, fringe. So you're gonna take the one that looks kind of like a piano. It's got these. And preschoolers are going to cut to that dot. See that dot that I just cut to? Look. Cut to the dot, okay? So you're gonna cut all of them up to the dot. You're going to do it all the way across, and then it's like fringes, right? It's little fringe. See that? Look at that. Awesome, okay? So you're going to cut all the way across to make the fringe. I'm just going to finish mine real quick. Okay? If they can do it, parents or caretakers, you are going to put a yes in the checkbox or you're going to put a checkbox in the yes column or a checkbox in the not yet column. It's okay if they're in the not yet column because we are actually working on this skill. And also, if you could send these ones back to Miss Mary, so that at least send this sheet back to Miss Mary so that she can put it in their files, because every so often we do this checklist to see how they're advancing. So if you could send that back to us, that would be amazing. All right, so when you finish your fringe, you can bend it and it's gonna look like this, right? Woo! Okay. After the fringe, they're gonna cut straight lines. So it's the one with the dotted line all the way across the paper. So they're just gonna take it and they're basically just gonna cut this paper in half because it just goes all the way across this little strip. So you're gonna cut it all the way across like this, okay? Thumb pointing to God. And then you have 2 pieces, okay? If they did that, caretakers, if they did that one, put cut straight line, yes. If they didn't do, you know, along the line, put not yet. And that, like I said, is okay. All right? The next activity is going to be more difficult. This is the zigzag lines, okay? So they're going to take it, they're going to turn it up, and then they're going to cut down, right? Like a mountain. Okay, some of them might have a hard time. Some of them also will turn their arm instead of the paper, and that's fine. It's okay. All right, we are going to just cut it, and some of them might get so close to the edge it might rip off. That's fine, you guys, that's fine. Just keep going, okay? So if that part rips off, you just keep going with the rest of it, right? Cut your zigzags. Awesome. I'm gonna finish mine. Look at Miss Tiffany and her proficient scissor skills. Wow. All right. So after you cut them, or cut that one, you're gonna check. Yes, they can cut zigzag lines, or not yet. They cannot not yet cut zigzag lines. Like I said, you guys, this doesn't hurt their grade. If they can't quite do a certain skill, if they struggle a little bit, it's not going to hurt them in any way. It's just strictly so that we can see their progress, okay? The next one is cut curved lines. Here is the curved lines. These ones are pretty difficult because it's a lot like a circle. Circles with the turning is it's a very tricky skill at first. So you're going to do this. Remember, keep your thumb pointing to God. Take your time. Don't rush through it. Some of you might try to rush through it, and we cannot rush, right? Because we need to be safe, which means we need to go a little bit slower, okay? So cut your curved line, all right? When you're all done, you can put that aside, and then whoever is helping you will go to their checklist, okay? Very good. After that, we're going to do right angles. So for the right angles one, I drew 2 squares. You don't have to do both. Just showing that they can cut at least one right angle where they turn like this. Okay? All right. Cut the right angles. So if they can cut out at least one side, or 2 sides, so this one and this one, then that counts as a right angle, and you can mark it on your checklist. I want to reiterate again, okay, that this isn't going to hurt their grade if you have to put not yet. Please be honest, because this helps Miss Mary and I assess where they're at and helps us so that we can work hard in the parts that they're not quite getting. So if they did good at ripping paper, snipping, and fringe, but the straight line was difficult, that's where we'll work, okay? Just remember to tell your students to slow down, okay? To point your finger up to heaven, your thumbnail up to heaven, okay? And take your time, okay? I hope you all have a good experience with scissors. I know if you're helping the student, parent, guardian, you know, caretaker, whoever you are, patience is a virtue. I know scissors can be a very tricky, stressful activity to teach, so just try to breathe through it, okay? And you guys have a good day. I'm so glad you guys are doing so good at your homeschooling, okay? All right, I miss you all. Have a good day. Bye.